Good morning. Safety message for the week of December 29th. We're going to talk about best practices. I see in this article, so I'm going to go off this article and talk about best practices because I thought that would be a good way to end the year of 2022. First of all, biggest single thing is, I think, identifying workplace safety hazards. One thing is we should be defining them, talking about them. Best practices, start of every shift. It's called the JSA. And all too often I see what is a best practice isn't being followed, and that is talk about the hazards before your day begins. Whether it's the new day begins or it's a new job, that's a best practice without a doubt. Next. Define safety policies, remind each other how to follow them. That means we talk about them. It might be one a day, but it's just a good way to keep it in front of us and remind us what those safe practices are that we're required to adhere to. Next, all of us need to adhere and align to ways and means that we can foster the culture of safety. And that means anything and everything from reporting, being that example, and getting everybody, whether it's leaders, managers, and employees alike, all on the same page. And it's all about taking responsibility and avoiding the not my job. Best practice, you never talk about those terms, not my job. Best practices, everybody takes ownership. Build a communication plan. Best practices, safety is number one, and it truly is number one. Not when we just want it to be, but it truly is number one. The way we come to work, so we go home, and we're really, really focused on that. And we got our priorities in a row, if you will. And make sure that we keep updated and we train appropriately. So, critical. Safety updates. We can be communicating that with each other. Important documentation. I like the idea where employees are talking about lessons learned or a safety moment. What are we seeing lately? Safety is going on 24/7. And yet we're not talking about and capturing all those things as a best practice that each one of us are doing, dealing with, seeing, whether it's in the community, on the highway, or at work. Critical things that we can all do to help make that difference. So communication, absolutely far and above and beyond, it's critical. Another thing is, how can we reach each other through communication? Obviously, cell phones are a dime a dozen, they're everywhere. But if we use them in the right way, it can go a long way, whether it's through a safety message with each other, reminding each other, recognizing our guidelines, recognizing those safety hazards before it turns to an injury. And then all of us can measure the impact. We know if there's accidents or not. Best practices, we need to be successful on our communication, that day-to-day dialogue. And that involves every bit of every part of our team, from leadership to employees, and everybody is encouraging each other. It's absolutely critical. So, next, it's a good idea to me to designate someone, whether it's a supervisor, somebody who's in charge, all right? And if we have a supervisor or leader, what about an employee leader as well? That everybody's on the same page and we're helping each other, motivating each other, and we designate someone for that. We can change off every day is another idea. By doing so, employees can confidently and discreetly discuss concerns. No retaliation. It's absolutely not tolerated. Building a culture of trust and being consistent at it. Know something, see something, do something. Everybody encourages participation. And that in itself is going to help make a huge difference. That is my message for the week. Take care, everyone. Be safe.